Let us begin with that bipartisan group of senators led by Democrat Chris Murphy and Republican John Cornyn of Texas. That group will hold a remote meeting today in hopes of reaching a framework, at least, for gun reform. Senator Cornyn said yesterday many gun issues should be discussed at the state level, but said background checks, mental health, and red flag laws are things Congress can address. After spending nearly 4 hours with the families in Uvalde on Sunday, the president returned to the White House yesterday and expressed some optimism that, quote, rational Republicans will make a move this time. He decried easy access to high-caliber weapons while also discussing the limitations of his own power on this issue.
There's a Constitution. I can't dictate this stuff. I can do the things I've done, and any executive action I can take, I'll continue to take. But I can't outlaw a weapon. I can't, change the background check. I can't do that.
So, Joe, we heard from the president yesterday. We know that Mitch McConnell encouraged John Cornyn and other Republicans to join that bipartisan group with Chris Murphy. On the other hand, it does feel like we've been here before after Sandy Hook and many other times. Do you see reason to believe that at the national level in Congress that there may be some legislation that can get through?
I actually do. I think you're never disappointed if you underestimate the will of Congress to do anything considerable, anything significant on one of the most important issues when it comes to protecting our children. If you look at the numbers, they're just absolutely staggering every year, that more children die by gunfire than police officers die in the line of duty, than military troops die in combat, that black Americans die being shot by police officers, or that all Americans die being shot by police officers. Those are all issues that we talk about an awful lot on TV. Combine all of those numbers together, more children die from gunfire. And the numbers are staggering. So I think the biggest tell here that this may be different, is that Mitch McConnell, what does he always tell us? I represent my Republican caucus. So if they want to stay with Trump, I'm going to stay with Trump. He never gets too far ahead of the Republican caucus. I think the fact that this bloodshed continues, that it happened in the reddest of red states, that it happened in a red state where the insanity of the gun laws, the insanity of tweets coming from the governor of Texas, being disappointed that they're not the #1 gun-buying state in America, that they're behind California. All of this, the incompetence of the leadership of the governor. We saw it yesterday. They was booed. I think all of that is adding up. And also the numbers are just on the side of people who believe in gun safety. 85% of Americans, according to the latest poll, they support universal background checks. 85% of Americans, they support red flag laws. What does that mean? That means that Greg Abbott can't go anywhere in the state of Texas. Ron DeSantis can't go anywhere in the state of Florida. There is no safe political zone for them to hold a town hall meeting and speak out against universal background checks, to keep children alive in schools, to keep parishioners alive in churches and synagogues, to keep country music fans alive at those concerts. So yes, I know after Sandy Hook, we had, of course, Joe Manchin working with 1 or 2 Republicans, but that was it. This has a feeling, we have John Cornyn being directed to, of course, talk to Chris Murphy. Maybe, just maybe, there's a chance. There's an opportunity for those red flag laws. There's an opportunity for universal background checks to possibly see the light of day, get debated, and get passed on the floor of the United States Senate. Not military-style weapons, but possibly those 2 issues.